What is up, everybody? I'm Aslan Hajifandi, Director of Digital Media for Warchant.com, the ultimate Seminole sports source. That is our recruiting analyst. It's Michael Langston. Michael, what can folks do to show some love, some appreciation for the work you're about to unleash on all of us?
Hit the like button for us, guys. Just keeps us help promoting this great things and all the hard work that everyone put into this weekend. With Austin Cox and Aslan with the video, and obviously me out there, and just all the good stuff we had. So helped us promote it. So hit the like button.
I think it's Austin R. Cox 12. Tweet at him, people. Tell him that he's the man. Austin really cranked out some man hours this weekend, helping out with Michael, doing recruiting, doing a lot of the heavy lifting, man. So he doesn't get to run in for the touchdowns a lot, but man, he's out there grinding between the 20s for sure for us. All right, let's get to it, Michael. The mega camp was on Sunday. We're going to focus on the elite camp that went down on Saturday.
Right.
Let's start on offense. And as always, the needs rely on the trenches. Offensive lineman, there was a lot of guys that you're keeping an eye on, but maybe two or three in particular. You want to break it down for us who you saw on Saturday and who kind of flashed?
Yeah, I think the obvious one, talk about Roderick Kearney. I mean, he was really good. I mean, just really under control when he blocks. He's really fast, but he gets a hold of somebody. It's almost over once he gets a hold of. So I thought he did really well. I think Jatavius Shivers also impressed me a lot. I think he was a guy that really jumped out at me. I think he can play guard or probably more inside guy if I had to guess, and I watch him. And then the guy that really just impressed me the most was DJ Chester, who they've already offered. I think he was phenomenal. Showed a lot of different things where he can play inside or out. He didn't have a trouble. He was the one guy that gave Jordan Hall trouble. I mean, he beat Jordan Hall on a rep. So I think he was the most consistent overall with the one-on-ones, and those three guys, really jumped out to me. Caden Jones was also good, big, tall, long, athletic, guy with a lot of wingspan. He certainly gave people trouble with that length, and then Kenyon Cox was also there from Phoenix City. So those were kind of the main ones. But it was a really good offensive line group. I mean, it was a really strong group, as people saw in the video. But those three probably are kind of a notch above just everyone else from my view when I watched it. I thought all three of them had a really good day.
All right, let's go directly behind them. Let's go to the quarterbacks. Chris Parsons was in the house. Luke Kromhawk also in the house, but maybe some other guys to keep an eye on. But how did you sort of maybe assess the play of Chris and Luke?
Yeah, so I was sending updates to Ira just to the stuff that was going on, and I'm like, this Luke kid looks like the best guy here so far. And what I saw, and it wasn't like Chris was terrible. It was just Luke was so good with the way where he put the ball, the location of the ball, the accuracy on the deep balls, and like every different type of throw, he seemed to be comfortable. It wasn't perfect. He was off on a few of them, but for the most part, I think Luke was just more consistent from what I saw. Both of them have a lot of zip on the ball. Chris certainly showed the zip, but I think it's the accuracy and the timing. It seemed to be better in this event for Luke to me, but I think both of them did pretty well. Um, and as far as standing out, but it really, I was kind of taken back, surprised. I was expecting Chris to just dominate, but I think Luke in this setting was a little bit better.
Were there some other new names that emerged at quarterback that caught your eye, Michael?
There was a few more guys. I think. I think we covered, kind of on the, during the updates, but no one that like FSU's like for sure 100% like pushing for. I think the 2025 kid, the Colin Hudley kid, that I think people, I think he's good. I mean, it's real thick lower body, so he gets a lot of transition and velocity with his hips. So he's a guy I kind of like, and it was a few others, but I think I really focused a lot of my attention, on those two guys with Parson and Luke, since obviously they're committed. And I just think I thought like on this day Luke was the better. He seemed to be more control, and in the presence in the pocket, he seemed to be much more comfortable with the throws he was making. It wasn't like he felt like he was not like connecting with the receivers, and these receivers he's never played with. So it seemed he seemed to be the guy that was most in control of everything.
Austin Cox did a follow-up story on Chris Parsons. Everything all right, though, right? We're all good? Happy?
I don't know.
Happy?
I mean, It sounds good, but I still think he's going to take a visit or two just on places just to compare. I think probably Mississippi State would be a place I think he would visit since he's from Mississippi. You would think he would go check them out. So I still think he's going to take visits, even though he told us everything seemed great, everything seemed good. That they discussed it firmly with him, like, hey, this is what we're going to do, and certainly we know FSU's hosting quarterbacks, and even starting next weekend, I think Ricky Collins is the Purdue commitment is going to FSU's going to host him. So I think he's going to. I think they're going to look, and he's going to look. So he seemed understanding about the whole situation. Also asked him directly about, hey, what's the deal? Do you feel comfortable? And he gave the indication of, hey, I'm firmly into it, and I don't think FSU's like, I don't get a sense there's an over concern of, oh, he's going to leave us, he's going to Luke Altemeyer us, or something like that. I think it's just they feel good about the relationship, they feel good about what they're doing, but they understand, hey, if you got to take a visit.
All right, and then behind them in the backfield, wrapping things up, in terms of the backfield, Cameron Davis, man, this dude, just a
Yeah.
human muscle, a bowling ball of butcher knives, 5'10", 200 pounds. He looked pretty good, right?
Yeah, he was my alpha dog that I would pick on offense. Just there was several great offense linemen you could pick. A lot of those guys had great days, but this guy just naturally does stuff that you really can't teach too much. I mean, usually when you get like stocky guys, they're stiff up front or stiff down low. There's not a shifty, but Cam's a little different where the cutting ability, the balance is all there. He does all that, and I told people like after this event, like, look, you want to see what he does during the season. You can kind of evaluate all of it, but I mean, it looks like certainly a high 5-star candidate for me. When I watch him play, just does naturally everything you look for. He's very comfortable as a receiver. Uh, another thing, when you get stocky guys, usually they may not have their arms get in the way, or they maybe you're not as flexible or anything. But with Cam, it seems very natural. It's like there isn't. It didn't feel like there was anything that he wasn't comfortable with when they were doing out there, when Coach Yak was running him through everything, and then one on ones, he was he was a man among boys. He was just he definitely separated himself from everyone else. When you watch, he's like, okay, this guy looks different the way he plays, the speed, the acceleration, the space, what he does in one on ones. He's kind of everything you're looking for in a back, and I think he was tremendous. Cam had a tremendous day.
All right, let's talk about out wide pass catchers. Camden
Yeah.
Fryer's in the house. Van Drevius Jacobs. I don't want to steal any of your thunder, man. What do you think about the receivers?
Dre put on the show, man. For those that watched the one-on-one, the video as I'm put together, and even the little clips that we had deep. When you talk about big plays, I don't think there's anybody that made more big plays than Dre. Just the separation he gets from corners is really noticeable, and that's kind of a thing that we've talked about, even complained about, with the FSU receivers that they don't get enough of that. I don't think that's going to be a problem with Dre. I mean, Dre was extremely good. Sometimes he's a little out of control in his routes where he's going so fast that his body control is kind of a little out of whack. But overall, he was phenomenal. I thought he put on a great performance, and he's had some Odell Beckham type catches out there, just some crazy stuff. But the big takeaway for me, just with him, was the separation and how explosive this guy is. Once he breaks off that route in the first cut, I thought he was extremely good, and I was really impressed with Camden Fryer because I wasn't expecting him to be able to. I thought he's mostly just a slot, but he's a guy that I think you can line up anywhere, wide out or inside. And the thing I liked about him is he was so in control of all his routes. When you watch him, he's in control. Like, he's going fast, but he's always in control. So when he makes that cut, he's always got his hands positioned to make the catch. His body's squared up. He's right there. And then we saw some plays where he got separation as well on the deep balls and had some big plays there. So I thought Dre was the most explosive, but I think the most consistent for me was Fryer.
All right, let's turn to defense and let's start up front in the trenches, front four tackles, rush ends, whatever, setting the edge. Defensive line, Jordan Hall's a guy that we caught up with in Duval County about 2 weeks ago now. He was obviously at the camp. Boots, Lamont Green Jr., another
Yeah.
one. What else? Maybe expound a little bit more on those guys. Anybody else that caught your eye, Michael?
Yeah, I think the top guy for me, was Jordan Hall. I just felt like consistently he beat everybody. I mean, I think he only lost one rep. He's so much more quicker with his pass rush. Told me there's a few things Coach Odell did that kind of loosened that up as far as how he uses his hands and not just depending on the speed. So I think he generates a lot of speed through the way he uses his hands, and I think that jumped out to you. I thought he was the best, most consistent, and then Boots Lamont Green Jr. was. This is the first time I've actually seen Lamont in person where after he's put on that weight, his frame looks phenomenal. I think he said he's around 230, but his frame looks phenomenal. You can see before when I watched Boots, it was like he can get off the edge and he's really lightning quick. But when the guy extends his arm, he goes to the ground. Now that doesn't happen. He just powers through it. So you saw a lot of that where he has lightning in a bottle. I mean, he gets on that edge, he's gone. Like it's a sack. So I think the thing with him is that strength. He's been able to initiate contact and absorb contact and get through it. Where before, I think he was going to the ground, and I think the next thing, I guess the next step I would see Lamont. I want to see kind of him what he does when he goes inside. I think that's kind of the next step in the maturation of his pass rushing game. But I think overall, I think Boots was really good. I think Boots had a really good showing.
And then what about on the back end, Michael? The secondary, what'd you see out there?
Yeah, there's a lot of talented guys. I think Sharif Denson was a real good one. He was consistently. Yeah, we saw a lot of big plays by Jacobs, but if you watch a lot of those plays, Denson was right there on him. I mean, Jacobs was just making some circus crazy catches that, the coverage was right where you want it to be. I thought he was really good. I thought KJ Kirkland at safety showed a lot of range. I didn't realize how athletic he is. Really instinctful guy that I thought had a strong day. I think he kind of stood out to me. And Quindarius Jones, a JUCO prospect, I thought had a pretty good day. He was the guy. If you're looking for a guy that gave Jacobs trouble, he had a couple pass breakups on Jacobs that it's very impressive, very long, not like your normal other corners where if they're long, they're not really thick, and this kid had some thickness to him. So I think those guys kind of jumped out to me as far as in the DBs.
All right, and then overall, man, Michael, how would you kind of size up the weekend, the entire sort of presentation, and what you heard from recruits when you spoke to them after Saturday's elite camp?
I think from the recruiting perspective, it was pretty good. All the recruits that were the elite ones we spoke to it was pretty positive. There's a lot of good things to take away, and certainly FSU would feel good. Obviously, I think my takeaway with there's a lot of 3 stars. Man, there's a lot of 3 stars, and you want to change that to 4 stars. Now, part of that is FSU hosted a ton of kids early in the spring, and a lot of them just want to see what these guys do on the field. But part of it too is, hey, we're not sold on these guys. We want to see what they do on the field. We want to see you show what you're going to do against LSU. So I think it's a wait and see for some of these guys, and certainly you see that effect on not as many top elite guys compared to last year when you had the Travis Hunters and Sam McCall. I mean, it was 4 stars, 5 stars everywhere. So I think prospects want to see what this product is, and so overall they have to. It comes down to winning. We talk about it all the time. You got to win, and I think if they do that, then certainly you're going to be a significant shift. Say they go in there and they beat LSU. I think it's a significant shift in what guys you're going to see on campus from elite standpoint. But I think it's to a point where recruits kind of want to see that progress keep growing.
All right, then, Michael, what's going to be cooking over on the PRB, man? June is going to be exceptionally busy, it sounds like, for you in Austin.
Yeah, it's going to be really busy. Starting, I think they have a camp on June 6th at FIU that, I think Randy Shannon's going over. That's kind of maybe a Randy Shannon thing. So it might have a few South Florida kids, not here in like big names or anything like that yet. But then the big day for us is going to be June 8th. That's when they start the individual camps. I think there's a big man camp coming up. So that will be a busy day where we're confirming guys, see who's going to show up. That's a big time for me and probably one of the most exciting because the individual camps when you really get that individual time. We saw today, like, on Sunday, you have like 2,000 kids there, and God knows how many. You don't get that personal time that you do get at these individual camps or the big man camps or the 7-on-7 competition. I think you get more of an individual look, a personal look with the coaches, and I think you'll certainly that we have that coming up. We still have a few guys we're going to hit up with. I got a feature I'm going to work on with Camden Fryer, Lamont Green Jr., and Cam Davis that I'm going to put together all in one thing. Just kind of talk about the camp experience, elite camp experience, and go through a lot of that stuff. And then certainly we still have a few more guys that we want to get up, and then we'll see too when they're not camping before Wednesday. What kids show up at the Moore Athletic Center and take a visit to FSU, and so that's what I'm gonna kind of be working on tonight, just to see kind of what's next, who's visiting next, and that's kind of what we got coming up.
Oh, hey, last thing real quick. Julian Armello is out there.
Yeah,
He looks
looked
impressive.
phenomenal. Looked phenomenal. I chatted for him for a little while. Looks like 285 to me, 290, but it's a slim razor board. Looks like a board. It's kind of how last time I saw him, how he looked, and he's loving it. And I've heard nothing but really positive things from my FSU contacts about him doing all the right things, him being the first in line to do all the things that they're asking him to do, and so yeah, he looked phenomenal. It was really cool seeing all the incoming freshmen. A lot of them were out there. We saw a lot of them out there at the league camp, so it was really cool. But yeah, Julian looks phenomenal.
All right, right on. All right, check out the PRB. It's a premium recruiting board over at warchant.com. You got to be a member to access it. All that information, bottom of your screen. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. All that info is at the PRB, but you just got it for free. We're going to go out of business. Michael, thank you, man.
Thank you, bud.